Hi everybody, we're here on day number 70 here in Tallinn, Estonia.
So today we're going to head off on the tram over to see the Soviet monuments, the German monuments and the Estonian monuments, which are right next door to the History Museum across from Pirita Beach, and hopefully we can show you how amazing they look.
Newsflash, Kirsty is warm in Estonia. This is incredible. Didn't think we'd see the day.
Spring is here. So we took the tram from the Balti Jaam, just where in Tallinn, over to Kadriorg, and then we hopped off the tram, and then we're using Bolt for the rest of the way, which is only €2.50. This is our savvy little way. Oh.
So our Bolt driver is nearly here.
Hello. Here you can see the start of the Soviet Monument Memorial. We took a walk past the Soviet part of the memorial to begin here at the original German cemetery. This is the centerpiece of the German military cemetery. It is very large and the graves are not marked individually. Over 2,300 German soldiers are buried here in the grass beneath us. But in 1975, the Soviets bulldozed the site to make room for their own memorial markers to Red Army units that fought in Estonia and were killed by Nazis. The cemetery was rededicated in 1998 and portrayed by the triple granite crosses.
That was the German monument, and now we are just walking over to the Soviet monument, and it's a really vast, quite low-lying monument. It literally spreads out across such a large surface area, and parts of it are quite eerie looking.
You could spend all day here. You could come here and have a picnic and just take your time walking around it all.
The grounds are beautiful, the trees, massive grassy areas, and then you've got the monuments here as well. As Kirsty said, you can literally spend all day here.
From the cemetery, you walk between two concrete walls which are eerily connected by a bronze tangle meant to represent a flock of seagulls. Super creepy part of the memorial. From there, you find yourself right in the large crumbling concrete plaza of the Soviet monument. The obelisk erected on the hill just next to the plaza was built in 1960 to commemorate the Soviet troops killed in 1918. This controversial memorial is for Russian soldiers fighting against Estonians, who were fighting to retain their newly gained independence for the first time since the 18th century. The Estonians were successful at retaining their independence until 1940.
This Soviet monument is so vast and sort of cracks in the concrete in the ground, but there's so much space, and there's still a lot of people who actually come here to gather because it's got fantastic views across the park and also out across the sea. So this is the main coastal road, Pirita Beach, looking out across the sea and the bay, across the Tallinn Old Town, and then the business district, and then the rest of the Soviet monument.
Arrived here at memorial to Estonia's victims of communism, which consists of two parts. We've got the journey, which we'll show you through now, and then the home garden, which links through the side. We're just across from Pirita Beach, which is where this is based, so come and have a look.
Hopefully you can see this because it's fantastic touchscreen with lots of information on the Estonian Memorial here. The only thing is the screen is quite glossy, so there's quite a lot of reflection. You can choose between English, Estonian and Russian, and then there's an option here for the entire overview of the memorial, the wall of remembrance of the journey, the memorial's database, monument to Estonian regular officers, the home garden, and location stones and information texts. The walls are so tall, it's super imposing. Just for scale, you can see Kirsty up against each side of the wall. I mean, that's got to be at least, I don't know, 20 Kirstys high? I think that's an official scale.
So we're now inside the journey part of the memorial, and you can see here you've got 50 names of victims of communism here on this one tile, and there are hundreds of tiles going all the way along this side and this side of victims' names. That goes on. So just walking through the journey part of the memorial, counted that there's actually 441 of these tiles with 50 names on, so I'll let you do the maths on that. There's a lot of people who lost their lives to communism, and the story doesn't end there. There's so many names that are missing, and these tiles here point out that there's so many victims who were born and exiled and never even got found. Nobody knows their names, and the journey continues, and and as they find more names, they will be added along here. So there are some blank areas here too. So we've made our way through the journey part of the memorial, and now we're just in the home garden. It's so calm and peaceful and beautiful here. So having just walked through the journey part of this memorial, we're now here in the home garden. The home garden is a place where dreams and memories are intertwined with the feeling and yearning of home, and the apple trees that you can see planted around here, they're there to represent the feeling of home. And then directly behind me, you've got on the wall there, I'm not sure if you can see it from here, there's actually 22,000 honeybees. They represent the people, the victims, and this is between the eras of 1940 and 1991. So the idea behind that is the honeybees are sticking together despite what was happening. You can clearly see here that they're little honeybees, and as I mentioned earlier, you can see some clusters here which are a symbol of sticking together during the era of 1940 and 1991. Despite everything that was going on, it's quite a cool monument they've created here. The Estonians have done something really special with this place, and I would say that it's far more than just the imposing black walls that you see from the main road. There's so much more to this monument when you start walking through the journey, which is inside the other side of this wall, and then you come around here into the home garden where they've created like a beautiful sanctuary, like I say, surrounded by the apple trees, and just the tranquility that you have here really sort of represents the idea that they were trying to create of feeling like you're home and safe. It's really cool.
And Kirsty's favourite bit about it is that it's such a sun trap.
Yeah.
She's just been sunbathing in the home garden.
They've done a great job here. I think this is one of my favourite memorials. Really impressed. These location stones mark the primary sites of imprisonment and exile of Estonian people. Patarai prison, the Shiolot in Tallinn, and Tartu prison are just some of the sites of suffering in Estonia, where Estonians were detained and murdered. Yet most were sent far away into Soviet Russia and into imprisonment and forced labour. These information texts present the main facts concerning the communist terror and human losses in Estonia. The vast majority of the victims of communist terror today rest in unnamed graves without crosses. The primary sites of imprisonment of Estonians in Russia are shown here. So having just come up the steps from the home garden, here you've got the memorial here which represents the 801 Republic of Estonia officers who actually fought in the War of Independence and were murdered. 801 is actually a quarter of the entire corporation. Like I mentioned before, there is so much more to this monument other than the fact that there's two imposing black walls that you can see from the road. As you walk along past the monument of the officers, you come along here and it's not just a wall, there's these tiny little holes. Let's take a closer look, and if you look through here you can actually see genuine photographs of some of the officers who lost their lives during the period of 1940 and 1991. I'm going to take a quick look. If you come here on a day like this, just the views are absolutely beautiful from, it's just up here on the memorial. Look at that ocean view. Estonia lost every fifth person of its population of slightly over 1 million as a consequence of the terror imposed by the occupying regime. A total of 75,000 people from Estonia were murdered, imprisoned, or deported. This 2018 memorial to the victims of communism is dedicated to all of them.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the video. Please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate it.
And give the bell a ring so that you'll get a notification of when we next load an adventure.
And we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.
Bye. Join us next time as we take you on a tour of Maarjamäe Palace, the history, film and music museums.
Hi everybody, we're here on day 69 in Tallinn, Estonia.
We're on day 70.
German museum?
I don't know where.
Where did that come from?
I've never been to a German museum in my life. I don't know. And hopefully we can show you how amazing they look. That's it.
Okay.
What'd I miss? That was it.
Unusual angles, sort of sticking it together almost.
I think it looks like the thing out of Stranger Things.